If there is something we have seen in Clash of the Elite, is the fact that our main protagonist, Ayanokoji, is somebody that can easily tell what people's true intentions are, or he knows what they're going to do next and knows what their moves are going to be. That is something that Ayanokoji has been doing for a while now, and for that reason it makes it easier for Ayanokoji to manipulate them because he knows what they're going to do, he knows their true intentions. So of course, knowing all that, it's easier for Ayanokoji to control these people and to make them pretty much do what he wants them to do. But what if I told you there was a character that not only is very unpredictable, but even Ayanokoji himself stated that this is a person that he can't manipulate that easily because this person is really smart and not an idiot, and this character is Koenji. Koenji is a character that has gotten more interesting as the series has gone on, and even in second year as of right now, he's still becoming more interesting, and there's a lot of things to come about Koenji. But before we get into that, let's just start from the beginning, and like always, I am going to be talking about things that happen after the Clash of the Elite anime. So if you're anime only and you don't want to get spoiled, then I'm going to give you a warning because I am going to spoil things that happen after season 2 of Clash of the Elite. So from the beginning, Koenji has been pretty much shown that he is a very unpredictable person. Now in the beginning of the series, there was a few hints as to how mysterious Koenji was. Like for example, in volume 3, which was the island exam arc, Koenji pretty much had no interest in doing this exam, and he made up an excuse that he was sick, but in reality he was not sick. The only reason why he made that excuse was because he did not want to participate in this test whatsoever. So already there we could tell that Koenji was not going to be someone that was going to participate a lot in the class. And this isn't something that happens once. No, Koenji does this a lot. He constantly tries to not do these exams or not participate in the class whatsoever, and this will clearly show as the series goes on, because in the next exam in volume 4, which was the zodiac exam, or if you're anime only, the planet exam, Koenji did not want to do this exam whatsoever, so he decided to end things quickly, and he did something with his phone as it was shown in the anime. And after he did something with his phone, the exam of his group was completely over. Now one thing that the anime didn't mention was the fact that during the aftermath of the planet exam, or in the light novel version, the zodiac exam, Koenji actually guessed who the VIP was. He was actually correct on finding out the VIP of his group, something that really just shows us that Koenji seems to have some tricks up his sleeve. It's very clear that Koenji is smart and he's capable of doing a lot of things, but for some reason he puts no effort whatsoever, and this will show even more in volume 5 during the sports festival, where he had no intentions of participating in the sports festival and made an excuse to not do anything, and this was affecting his class. Like clearly at this point people were getting tired of Koenji, and Koenji could care less, which just goes to show you how confident he is in himself, and he doesn't care what other people have to say. But for the rest of the class, it was annoying that Koenji wasn't participating whatsoever, and also the fact that he was not taking things seriously. But despite him being very smart and despite him not showing his full potential, another thing that makes Koenji interesting is that he is not afraid of anybody, and it was very clearly shown in volume 7. This was during the time that Ryuen was trying to find out who the mastermind of Class D was, and Ryuen was doing everything he can to make sure this identity was exposed to him, and Koenji became one of these targets that could potentially have been the mastermind of Class D. And when Ryuen confronted Koenji, Koenji did not feel intimidated. He was not scared about Ryuen whatsoever. And keep in mind, this was during a time where pretty much a lot of students in the school were afraid of Ryuen, because if you know Ryuen is willing to do anything to get what he wants, even if it means a lot of things that could potentially get him expelled from the school. But Koenji did not feel threatened by Ryuen, and he also pretty much insulted Ryuen during this whole confrontation as he called him Dragon Boy. But not only that, but in the anime they didn't really show it, but when Sakinagi was there during that whole confrontation, Koenji also insulted Sakinagi by calling her boring and also calling her a little girl. So if he's able to insult Ryuen and Sakinagi, then it clearly shows that he's not afraid of anybody, and it's very clear that nobody is going to intimidate him. But of course, it doesn't just end there, because then later on in volume 8, which was the training camp arc, when Koenji is in Ayanokoji's group, the interactions that he has with Ayanokoji are very interesting, because it's very clear that Koenji knows that Ayanokoji isn't your average person. Now of course, like typical Ayanokoji, he tries to act like he has no idea what he's talking about and tries to say that he's not anything special. But of course, this is something that Koenji does not not buy, and Ayanokoji knows this as well. He knows that Koenji is very intelligent, and just like him, Koenji is not showing his full potential. It's very clear that he's not showing his full strength and what he's really capable of, just like him. And no matter how many times Ayanokoji tries to find out what he's going to do next or what his next move is going to be, Koenji is very unpredictable. And this is something that Ayanokoji finds also very interesting, is the fact that Koenji is probably the only person as of right now that he can't manipulate that easily. No matter what he says, Koenji is clearly thinking something else, and it's very clear that Koenji knows what's actually going on. It's very clear that Koenji is somebody that Ayanokoji, if he was ever to battle with Koenji one-on-one, he doesn't know what the outcome would be, because that's how unpredictable Koenji is. He doesn't know what's his next move going to be. He doesn't know his ulterior motive. He doesn't know how many plans Koenji has. But there was also a lot of things that happened in his arc as well that made Koenji stand out even more. Like, for example, we found out what Koenji's original plan was to get to Class A. Now you may be thinking, how is Koenji going to get to Class A if he needs to not only contribute to the class but also take these exams seriously? Well, Koenji found another way to get to Class A. He found out as soon as he got into the school that whenever these senior classes, meaning the people who are about to graduate from the school, whenever it's almost time for them to graduate, if they still have remaining points, they could actually change those points for cash. And as soon as Koenji found out about this, Koenji made a plan. He was going to talk to seniors and convince them to give them their points to him in exchange for cash, because if there's something you didn't know about Koenji, is the fact that he comes from a wealthy family, so money isn't really a huge problem for him. Now, of course, this was a plan that originally was going to supposedly work. However, Nagumo did ruin this plan, because when he was confronting Koenji, he revealed Koenji's plan, and instead of Koenji being mad or being scared that Nagumo found out of his plan, Koenji just shrugged it off as if he had other plans in the near future. It almost seemed that Koenji has a lot of plans to get to Class A. The fact that we don't know what these plans are is what makes Koenji unpredictable, because we don't know what his next plan is to get to Class A. What is his other plan that he's coming up with in order to reach to Class A? Only time will tell, and only until then will we find out what his other plans are. But yeah, this whole thing with Koenji in this arc was really interesting, because not only did we see the interesting interactions that he had with Ayanokoji, in which Koenji could clearly tell that Ayanokoji was not your average person. He could tell that Ayanokoji was not showing the world his full potential. Not only that, but we also find out what Koenji's original plan was to get to Class A. But we also find out that he's not really upset that this plan got foiled, because it seems that he has more plans to come in order to get to Class A. But I think the biggest moment in which it showed what Koenji was capable of wouldn't be until second year volumes 3 and 4, aka the island exam arc once again. But this exam was a bit different, because it was actually a battle royale between first years, second years, and third years of the school. But before this exam began, in volume 2 of second year, Koenji actually made a deal with Horikita. It was during this time that Horikita was pretty much the leader of the class at this point. Koenji made a deal with Horikita, saying that if he actually put in effort and actually take this exam seriously, then from now on, no matter what the upcoming exams are, he is not going to participate, and the class will just have to deal with that. Of course, Horikita was first hesitant in this deal, because this was the only time Koenji was going to take something seriously, but the only downside is this is the only time that he will ever take one test seriously, and after that Koenji is not going to participate in the future exams that are going to happen as the series goes on. But this was a chance to see what Koenji was capable of, so Horikita agreed to his deal. But of course, she countered, saying that if he does not manage to do what he says, then in the future exams, Horikita is going to make sure Koenji participates in, whether he likes him or not. Now, of course, this is something that Koenji agrees with, and it seems that the deal has been done. And it seems that Koenji wasn't joking around, because during this exam, he was actually competing with Nagumo for first place in his exam. And keep in mind, Nagumo was in control of third year, so it clearly showed that Koenji was capable of challenging Nagumo as well, showing us that he has a lot of potential, and it's very clear that he is very skillful. And towards the end of this exam, Koenji actually does get first place, showing us that if he does put in effort and he actually takes things seriously, then he does do great results. And because of this victory, and because he actually got first place in his exam, this benefited Horikita's class. So it was very clear that in this moment, Koenji was pretty much a person that can actually back up his talking. He wasn't just somebody that just says all these things and doesn't get results. No, when he's actually taking things seriously, Koenji gets results. He's not just somebody that does all this talking and has no results. No, Koenji is somebody that's very capable of showing just how strong he is in both smartness and in physical physical strength, and the fact that he's able to get results just like that, like it's nothing, shows us that he has a lot of potential. And it's very clear that this is somebody that Ayanokoji was not expecting to exist in the outside world. Remember, Ayanokoji for his entire life has been in the White Room, and supposedly the White Room was the place in which the superhuman being can be created. But it seems that there's actually a person like that in the outside world, somebody that's been in society for a really long time, and that person is Koenji. And like I stated before, we don't really know what Koenji's full potential is. Just like Ayanokoji, we don't really know what Koenji is capable of, but only time will tell what Koenji is going to show as the series goes on. And that's really what makes Koenji really a very good character in Clash of the Elite, because we have someone that's similar to Ayanokoji but not really. You see, the reason why Ayanokoji doesn't show his full strength is because he just simply wants to be behind the scenes. He doesn't want to stand out. He doesn't want to be the person who gets the center of attention. He just wants to live a quiet life. Now, of course, this is something that's still changing as the series goes on, and it seems that in second year he's now having different ideas and different opinions towards if he really just wants to have a simple life, because as second year has shown us, it's very clear that his goals are kind of changing, but we don't really know for sure. Only time will tell what his goal is once second year finishes and we reach third year, but we will just have to wait and see what happens next. And with Koenji, the reason why he doesn't show his full potential is because he doesn't really feel like it. You see, he could show it, just that he doesn't want to. It all depends on him whether he wants to show it or not. That's the difference between Ayanokoji and Koenji. Ayanokoji didn't want to do it because he just wants to be in the shadows. Koenji doesn't want to do it because he doesn't feel like doing it. That's pretty much it. That's the difference as to why Ayanokoji and Koenji don't show their full potential. But that's what makes me really like this series, because I want to see what's going to happen next. What is Koenji going to do next? Because he's that unpredictable that I don't even know what Koenji is going to do next. And I'm really looking forward as the series goes on to see more scenes with Koenji, because he's clearly shown us that he's a very, very interesting character, but also a very good character to see, because every time he has interaction with not just Ayanokoji but with other students in the school, I just want to learn more about Koenji, and I'm really looking forward to see what he's going to do as the series goes on. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Koenji, and that's pretty much the entire video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.